Hi, my name is Michelle Putnick. I'm the Worldwide Business Development Leader for Manufacturing at AWS. Today, we're going to talk about speeding digital transformation with AWS for Industrial. So, digital transformation is obviously happening in many industries, and particularly in asset-heavy ones. So that could be agriculture, it could be discrete, it could be process manufacturing, power and utilities, mining, and so on and so forth. The opportunity is everywhere, and most companies are chasing it. They're looking for ways to improve their relationship with customers, operate more efficiently, connect their products so that they become smart, and on and on and on. So there's plenty of opportunity that customers are chasing, and we see those proliferated across many verticals in manufacturing. Now, that said, there's still a number of challenges. How do I get access to all the data that is being produced every day? It's not necessarily that we need new data, but how do we just get access to the data that is created on a daily basis and maybe was created 2-3 years ago? It's going to be shaped in different formats. It might be hard to get to. So that's kind of one priority, if you will, to get access to the data that is already there before you start looking at what other data types can I get my hands on. Managing that data in different formats, like I said, some of it structured, some of it not so structured, is another challenge. And then, of course, you're looking at the scale. It's easy to do a proof of concept in one small part of a plant floor, as an example, but how do I do it across an entire portfolio, across the world, or across a substantial geography? And then I'm looking at the decision-making implications. Once I have the data, I'm managing the data, I'm massaging the data through machine learning models and AI and so on and so forth. Sometimes we talk about how to visualize that data, and that's fine for a lot of use cases. But considering the size of data that we're capturing, it also makes it a very good candidate for automating decision making. Some call this robotic process automation, and I think that is a great opportunity, but it's also a challenge that customers are looking at and trying to understand, where do you start? What type of processes could be automated? Security is always a concern. We have, on the plant floor side, always thought about security. And certainly now, in the context of on-premises, some workloads still there, but also in the context of cloud. How can I bridge that gap? How can I take data that is created in my factory or my portfolio factories and securely move that data to the cloud? So those are some of the challenges that many of these industrial customers are facing as they look at digital transformation. So where do they start, and why do they start? It could be in any of these 6 areas or others, but these are the predominant ones. Engineering and design. How do I accelerate my time to market with a product? How do I improve the collaboration between engineers that might be scattered around the world so they can build the best product possible? How can I take telemetry maybe from smart products already in the field to inform and maybe make product improvement suggestions for the R&D folks? So those are just some of the opportunities and drivers in R&D. Production and asset optimization, it's really about driving that efficiency on or across my plant portfolio. Reduce the downtime, or the unplanned downtime, I should say, availability of the asset. And if you're doing that, of course, you're going to have lower costs and you're going to improve your sustainability posture and things of that nature. Quality management, integral part in this as well, and many customers start here. Sometimes the human is not, well suited at looking at a repeatable task, such as looking at, doing QA or quality assessments. But you can automate that with easy to use cameras that are IP safe and work and function within the realms of a factory, so that you can look for anomalies, or you can look for missing parts, or you can look for dings and dents, and so on and so forth in the product. So there's a huge appetite in that particular space. Worker safety and productivity, another area that is very pertinent in this day and age. But we're looking at reducing injuries, monitoring safety. Should workers be in an area or shouldn't they? Do they have the right skill set or taking the right training to be operating a particular piece of machinery, and so on and so forth? Everything to essentially improve the productivity of those employees. Now, you can drive a lot of efficiencies on the plant floor, and but I think one of the critical parts in doing so is the production side of the equation is great that we can do it more efficiently, but you have to tie it to what the demand is for that particular product that you're manufacturing. It's not enough to do it more efficiently if all we're doing is stuffing the inventory, because that still impacts my balance sheet or my uh, uh, my um, my partner's balance sheet, my distributor, etc. So doing that, we're connecting that to forecast accuracies, typically leads to an ability to reduce inventory and thereby get a better grip on capacity utilization. Now, smart products and machines is an area where most companies have been tinkering for a very long time. The smarts that we can put into products today, whether it's consumer products or heavy equipment or whatever it may be, um, is just so easy. Used to be way harder, used to be proprietary, different protocols, et cetera, et cetera. Now there's a really solid opportunity for building that into the products that these manufacturing companies actually make. So we've been serving the industrial space for a long time, and this is just a snippet of some of these companies that we've been working with across many different verticals within industrial. It's been a privilege and it's been a lot of fun, and I think it's up to us collectively to just keep chipping away, to drive efficiencies, to get to solving some of these challenges that they have articulated, and doing so jointly and together. This type of transformation is not a it's a team sport. It's not a single sport, right? It requires a lot of different players to come together to solve for many of these challenges. Now, one of them is Invista. It's pardon me. It's a customer that we've been working with for quite a long time, and for them, like there is for many others, it's about unlocking the data that is stuck in silos in a number of different manufacturing sites across their portfolio. Get to that in a standardized, harmonized way, and kind of preparing that data so you can move it to other applications that may need it, and really drive automation. In this case, an automated stocking process for high-moving spare parts, which Invista has been working on together with AWS. A really good example of some of the possibilities that you can achieve. So at the same time, we've heard customers ask for more, ready-to-go solutions, more managed services. Um, Customers, to a large degree, especially in the manufacturing space, are still builders. They build something typically, or make something typically. So, but in this context, they're looking for more patterns. How have others solved for these particular challenges that they have, that they share? And can we package that? And that's precisely what we have done. So we built some new, purpose-built AWS services, many of them using machine learning that solve for some of the commonality that you find across these workloads. So that is, in essence, what AWS for Industrial is. So when it comes to this space, if we think about Amazon for a second, where obviously AWS underpins much of Amazon's operation, when it comes to factory operation, Amazon has been in this space for a very long time. If you had the opportunity to walk into any of our fulfillment centers anywhere around the world, it looks and smells very much like a manufacturing place or a factory, if you will. Robotics, different types of equipment, conveyor belts, servo motors, You name it, we have it. Things can break, and we need to avoid that if we are to serve our customers and deliver on the promise of that package showing up at their front door. So we've had some great experience in this area, and of course we're using that as we think about AWS for industrial. Now, the purpose-built services are not, singular services in themselves. Well, they are and they aren't. You should look at them in the context of the other comprehensive things that AWS offers in the industrial space, and also what our partners offers, frankly. And some of these are, industrial leaders in their own right. They are building upon AWS as a capability and adding and extending the platform, if you will. So that's really why AWS for industrial came about. So you can build these types of solutions on top of these services that we'll talk about in a second. You can work with partners to extend those capabilities, and of course deploy them within your AWS context. So there's a lot of different opportunities to run these, to operate them, to purchase them. Do I get them from AWS? Do I look at a partner offering that may extend an AWS service, and so on and so forth. So over the last few years, we've been really focused on building a robust set of capabilities and services for an industrial setting. Yes, of course, we build out our regions and offerings there, and where security is key. The ease of development, ease of deployment, ease of management, and those core capabilities. But then really looking at what can I do on premises versus public cloud? What needs to stay on premises for various reasons, such as latency, and what can we offer to make that a smooth transition of the data that is being created on premises and smoothly transitioning that to cloud. So there's a number of different services from IoT, AWS IoT Greengrass to Snowcone, Kinesis video streams, FreeRTOS, and so on and so forth. So we've been really diligent in creating this ecosystem of different capabilities to support those challenges. Now, when it comes to some of the recent announcements, these are really targeted towards some of those challenges that we just talked about. Sitewise is not new, but it looks at solving the collection, storage, the organization, the monitoring of data from industrial equipment, and really doing it across the plant portfolio. It's not a singular use case, but across as you are ready to scale. The Panorama appliance adds essentially a computer vision capability to existing cameras that you may already have on site, such as CCTV. And you can use it for a number of different use cases. It could be monitoring where people are where they're walking, where they're going, where they're congregating or not congregating, and so on and so forth. We also have made available an SDK for hardware providers that make cameras that can actually run this SDK, at the edge or on camera, if you will. Amazon Lookout for Equipment does or detects abnormal machine behavior using existing sensors that sits on equipment today. So bringing that in and start looking at those type of abnormal behaviors that typically happen before something really bad happens in the end. Lookout for vision. Back to the comment I made about QA or quality. This is an area where computer vision is starting to get proliferated. So how do I put cameras, in different parts of the manufacturing process? How can I pick up, early signs that this will lead to scrap at the end of the process? Can I pick that up in much earlier stages? And this is a tremendous opportunity where we see a lot of interest. Amazon Monitron is an end-to-end, managed system that looks at equipment monitoring to detect, a normal machine behavior, and it comes with a sensor package for temperature and vibration. So that's kind of a ready-to-go service that you can start applying to maybe older equipment that doesn't have a good sensor package or any sensor package at all. It could be that you're using this asset for have been for 20, 30 years, and you want to continue to do that. Well, can I apply a vibration sensor? Can I apply a temperature sensor, and so on and so forth? So that's really what that is for. So those are some of the things that we announced just recently. Machine learning is kind of front and center in this area, and it's really across, from the bottom where we have the frameworks to the top where we have completed package services, and anything in between. The industrial AI capability, which I just talked about, Panorama, Monitron, the Lookout family, you can see that in the center top. But there's also many other ways to apply machine learning and AI in the context of your operation. Forecast, for example, again, I mentioned it's great that we're driving efficiency, but if we're more efficiently producing to inventory that nobody's buying, you may want to look at forecasting as well, because it's based on years of experience in this area from Amazon. So these are just some of the capabilities along the machine learning stack that solve for some of these challenges that we talked about. So there are other solutions as well that we've created over the last year or so. Amazon Virtual Andon is exactly what it sounds like. So how do you replace, maybe physical Andon systems or lights that typically don't track the data around solving an issue with a solution such as Amazon Virtual Andon? A connected factory solution, machine to cloud connectivity, our smart product framework, predictive maintenance, IoT device simulator, and so on are just a few examples. And I encourage you to go to the website here on this slide to look at many others that gets the time to value in a short amount of time. So these are, again, some examples. Now, where do I, if I'm sitting with this challenge, where do I start? How do I engage? Well, you can talk to your solution architects, which typically sits on the AWS account teams. They are typically very good at what architecture to implement, what type of solutions that we could look at. We have our professional services arm that I've done implementations of these kinds many times. We have our extensive partner network, and we also have our machine learning and IoT solutions labs. And these are just some of the capabilities that we offer our customers in order to solve for some of these. So I would probably start with your account team, where the solution architects sit, and have them help you navigate some of the options as it comes to bringing solutions to bear. I mentioned our partners. There's, of course, a number of different categories, right? There's consulting partners, and there's technology partners. So think of them as, traditionally systems integrators and so on and so forth on the consulting side, but also management consultants, and maybe more on the ISV side or the independent software vendors on the technology side. Many of them are fluent in the IT and OT space, and I encourage you to look at that list of partners and see if there's already one that you're working with and comfortable with. Here are some of the examples that you'll find that we are working with today. This is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of them, and hopefully you recognize some of these names that you can start working with. Autodesk, for example, has its Forge capability, Deloitte, its Smart Factory Fabric, Hitachi Vantara, PTC ThinkWorks, Siemens MindSphere, and so on and so on. There's many, many, many more that offer services, platforms, capabilities that just increases your time to value, all built on AWS. With that, I want to thank you for listening, and I wish you the best for Hannover Messe. Thank you.